I now know why California is freaking out about all these ICE raids. Illegals seem to be like, I don't know, half the state's population. Their entire state appears to be propped up by them. So here's what happens. Last night, ICE raided a marijuana facility. Okay, California, illegals, farming pot. Like, this is the perfect stereotype of why California is a dumpster fire. But instead of correcting it or condemning it, Gavin Newsom, their governor, the guy who just went down to South Carolina and did a bunch of other campaign stops to soft launch his presidential campaign, just tweeted out in response to ICE raiding this facility, quote, "Kids running from tear gas, crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the fields. Trump calls me new scum, but he's the real scum." I bet you think you're clever with that one. But let's just unpack this for a sec, okay? You want to bring kids up? Okay. Why were kids running from tear gas? Anyone? Oh, that's right. Because they were being employed to harvest weed illegally. That's why there is now a massive child labor investigation on top of the detentions. You see, in California, the labor laws that Newsom presides over, by the way, clearly states that all minors must obtain a permit to work within a few exceptions. Minors under 14 are generally prohibited from working at all, except in specific cases like babysitting, acting, and agricultural work for their parents. This is not the pot farm was not their parents' pot farm. Here, this is a great one. No one under 21 can work in commercial cannabis operations like these kids were. I mean, again, he's the governor. Minors under 16, including illegals, must attend school full-time. Minors aged 12 to 13 are prohibited from working on school days. All minors under 18 cannot work in zones of danger around heavy machinery, chemicals like farming uses, or perform hazardous tasks. And the self-righteous women, to you out there, the same ones on Martha's Vineyard who deported all the illegals Florida Governor Ron DeSantis sent there, that are crying, "Oh my, they tear gas these poor migrants." Who here would like to know why they were using tear gas in the first place? It's because from all the reports that we're seeing, the agents were having rocks thrown at their cars, and there were shots being fired at immigration officers. Not a word from Gavin Newsom about that, though. California had not only illegal immigrants, but illegal child migrants farming weed. And the governor of that state makes them out to be the victim and the law enforcement to be the bad guys? Are you kidding me? This is why this type of proactive immigration enforcement is exactly what we need, because these people have just been ignoring the law. Here's another perfect example. Cal State in LA. Professors are moving their classes online because so many students have concerns over immigration raids. The only people that should be concerned about immigration raids are people who aren't supposed to be here. How many of your students are illegal at this university? All of them? Students expressed fear about commuting to school on public transportation. Apparently, it's not just this school either, telling people to stay home. Everyone knows. If you've ever been anywhere close to LA, it's like 4 hours to go anywhere. It is notorious for having the worst traffic, or at least they were. But now, tons of residents are boasting about less traffic in places that were basically parking lots at the same time 4 months ago. Go look on there. It's all green. There's no more red traffic jams anywhere. It's unbelievable. Did he deport everyone? Look, this is why the libs in LA are so against this. Their entire economy rests on the back of exploiting illegal immigrants for cheap labor. Meanwhile, cheap labor for migrants because they don't have any rights because they're not legal citizens, while raising the minimum wage on every other business to the point where they go out of business, except for this pot farm. Oh, and obviously they want them there for the census data so they can get more congressional seats too. That's why LA is rioting, because they've let gangs, some of which are heavily involved in trafficking not only people but drugs. These gangs are burning down the city. And Mayor Karen Bass just straight up was like, no, that's not happening.
This is kind of more of a broader national question. Reports indicate that ICE agents and police officers in Texas have been targeted in ambushes, including in Alvarado, where assailants in tactical gear allegedly lured officers with fireworks before opening fire. Given your strong opposition to federal immigration enforcement actions in Los Angeles, how would you address similar escalations of violence against law enforcement in Texas? And what steps would you propose to prevent such unrest from spreading to Los Angeles? while balancing community safety and your sanctuary city policies?
Well, let me just say that the quote-unquote riots that were reported never happened.
Yes, they did. What was that minion, that useless bureaucrat off to her side? Be like, no, that didn't happen. Yeah, they are still happening. This is this week. Look at this. Dude is running through the street, shooting a pistol sideways at ICE agents while the state with the strictest gun laws is saying, I mean, like, unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And she says it's not happening while some bureaucrat is like, oh, no. She's advising her. I mean, and what's the response from the left? I mean, honestly. Oh, let's ban ICE from wearing face masks, which is rich. Because 4 years ago, the same Democrats in the same states wanted to lock people up for not wearing face masks. The same California literally arrested somebody during COVID for violating their stupid mandates, which is he was paddleboarding alone in the ocean. And now you want to ban ICE agents from covering their faces? You people are ridiculous. Do you know why they're covering their faces, libs? I mean, you have to know. Because a bunch of your constituents made a bunch of apps. They can take a picture of them with their phone, scan the internet, and find out who they are by their LinkedIn page or social media, whatever, and then dox them. This endangers their families, them, their dog. I mean, you're seemingly fine with that? I mean, don't tell me you don't know what you're doing. You know darn well what you're doing. You're literally more interested in protecting illegal immigrants than federal officers' safety. The same federal officer that if you called in an emergency would come and save your butt. The mayor of that city, LA mayor, signed an order that has absolutely no authority whatsoever, by the way. But she's trying to tell federal government by an edict that they have to inform her of when and where ICE will be doing their raids. No. Let me get this straight. You want to not work with the federal government under federal laws because you have no interest in cooperating with immigration officials because you're a sanctuary city or whatever, but you want the federal government to work with you under your authority the way you want it? Fat chance, lady.
There is a need for me to have an executive directive to help our city understand how to protect itself from our federal government. Just let that sink in for a minute. What we have seen here over the last now going on 6 weeks of raids that pop up and we never know exactly when and where they're going to happen.
But yes, that's the point. Because you guys will literally tell the illegals and then ICE won't catch any. That's why Democrats, oh my gosh, this is so simple. Why are these Democrats so consumed with protecting illegals? How about protecting legal citizens from criminals? No? Nothing on that? Or, I got an idea. I'm just throwing this one out there. How about you figure out how to get water to your fire hydrant so your entire city doesn't burn down, you dolts? And now it almost seems like Newsom is inspiring people to go to jail.
You think about some of the most transformative leaders in our life. You think about some of the most iconic leaders like Dr. King or Havel or Mandela or people like, Cesar Chavez himself. And at the peak of their influence, they had one thing in common, and that was jail time.
Cesar Chavez is an interesting one to invoke, but jail time, huh? I mean, you did try to throw Trump in jail, too, which ironically probably helped him win the election. But look, it's bad, though, when even John Kerry is starting to agree with Donald Trump on immigration policy, saying he's right. But, hey, good luck in 2028 with this campaign promise, libs. I mean, you should be a good one after you lose all your electoral votes in California after Trump deports half your state.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.